pleasant welcome everyone to 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant.
And we are so thrilled and happy to be coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. The content continues via our website, 284media.com.
In today's news, Joint Task Force initiative on Virgin Gorda results in 3 summons issued and 2 arrests.
And good news for Virgin Gorda, the government completes construction of the Bregado Flax Educational Center, of course, the secondary division. Good news, and I know this is welcomed by so many.
And the VG Bayside Blazers, the first team through to the second round of the District League Basketball playoffs.
RDA is set to host a debrief session to teach local contractors how to secure bids. And on the international scene, Moderna voted the most effective COVID-19 vaccine by CDC. We have all the details for these stories and so much more on today's edition of 284 News.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
A pleasant welcome, everyone. It is Friday, September 17th, 2021. Coming to you live from the British Virgin Islands. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kamal Haynes. Well, we start with news from the Joint Task Force, where 3 summons have been issued for immigration-related offenses and 2 persons arrested and charged for unrelated matters following a successful operation by the Joint Task Force on Virgin Gorda last weekend. With chair of the Joint Task Force, Commissioner of Customs, Mr. Wade Smith, said the operation was carried out on September 12th and targeted persons suspected to be in the territory illegally. But Smith thanked the members of the team for their diligence in planning and executing another successful operation. Well, he said, and I quote, "Operations such as these prove that when our law enforcement agencies share intelligence and work together, there is greater success," end quote. Well, Chief Immigration Officer Mr. Ian Penn said a total of 45 persons were investigated to verify their compliance with the immigration laws of the territory, with 3 persons being found to have immigration-related issues that warranted the issuance of a summons. Well, Penn said, and I quote, "It's important for persons throughout the territory to be aware of the Immigration Department with the assistance of the other agencies of the Joint Task Force, and it will continue to carry out operations of this kind, not only to eradicate illegal activity in our communities, but to apprehend persons found guilty of residing illegally in our territory," end quote. Well, the success of the operation was further cemented with the arrest of 2 individuals wanted by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. Well, acting head of the Virgin Gorda Police Division, Saith Kadura, said the Joint Task Force made its presence known in the Virgin Gorda community over the weekend, and there was notably appreciation for the operation, even for those persons who were being checked. Well, he said, and I quote, "Well, the operation sent a strong, reassuring message to the Virgin Gorda community that the Joint Task Force stands in maintaining law and order, but people felt reassured and safer because of it," end quote. Well, the Joint Task Force is made up of officers from the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, Her Majesty's Customs, and the Immigration Department. The task force remains committed to ensuring that the territory's laws are strictly enforced within its water limits and its ports of entry and throughout its communities to foster a safer Virgin Islands. Well, Javon, this story is actually some good news for the territory, especially it shows that the Joint Task Force is actually achieving some of its intended goals.
And another positive coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic as well. Clearly, we see these bodies uniting during the onset, or right in the onset of the pandemic, to ensure that we were providing efficient security, particular to our borders. But clearly, that energy is trickling down within the territory, and we're really grateful for the combined effort. As we move on, today, September 17th, was a very special day for the students and residents of Virgin Gorda, as the island witnessed the handover ceremony for the Bregado Flax Educational Center, Secondary Division. Now, viewers, the school was previously destroyed in the aftermath of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Redesigned by Virgin Islander Mr. Jose de Castro, the new structure provides a safe, conducive environment for our children to learn. Now, viewers, the Minister of Education and Culture, Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Wheatley, while celebrating this new milestone, noted that it was indeed a very long journey. Listen in.
that the principals, the teachers, they had to go through some very difficult conditions on the way to this building. They deserve this building and more for what they had to endure. It has a tent right over on the other side that was constructed for them. And we know that the challenges we had with the tent. And we know that through the RDA, the work that we had to do to help make persons comfortable in that tent. And Principal George would take me to the place where the teachers and the administrators had to sit. It was tough. And I know that in the sister islands especially, persons often feel forgotten. They feel ignored. They feel that no one hears their cries. But I have to tell you, and I can say this from the bottom of my heart, I'm a part of a government that cares.
The minister said, promise made, promise delivered. Now, representative for the 9th District and Minister of Natural Resources, Immigration and Labor, Honorable Vincent Whitley, echoed happy sentiments as well and promised an expansion of the school in short order.
It is hoped that within the next few months we'll be breaking ground so we can give this campus the full use to the secondary school, so you can bring more classes and more subjects into this campus. And get you a brand new, much talked about primary school. That too is in the works. I've instructed my PS to get on with the land acquisition, which is the first step. Hopefully it'll be done before this year is out, where we can say, well, yes, we can now break ground. Funding is already in place, the design is there, so we can move forward in short order. It has to happen. Have the two campuses here been spoken about for a very long time. It's time to stop the talk and get on with the act.
Present also at the ceremony was Premier and Minister for Finance, Honorable Andrew A. Foy, who spoke to some of the projects accomplished under his government since taking up office. He reminded residents, the residents of Virgin Gorda, of course, and wider BVI to forget the critics and focus on the deliverables.
Did we refurbish the Bregado Flax Science Lab? Yes, I can't hear you. Yes, there's some critics out there who we need, but we want them to hear. Did we refurbish the Bregado Flax Science Lab? Yes, did we refurbish the Bregado Flax Secondary School Division a whole block? Yes, did we refurbish the administration building in North Sound? Yes, did we refurbish the administration, the Vanderpool building in the Valley? Yes, did we refurbish the Jeffrey Keynes basketball arena? Yes, did we refurbish the Lee Road? Did we do many beautification projects in Virgin Gorda? I will stop there for now, because there are some Rip Van Winkles out there who have gone to sleep with anything that is done good. And the only thing they want to put in the people of the Virgin Islands' mind is that we are only a government wasting your money and not invested in you. I don't know about anyone else. I'm going to respect anyone who comes and gives their views, but not for 1 minute will they make me go in a shell. Because I know that our government's heart is pure, and our government's heart is about the people and the children of the Virgin Islands.
Now, viewers, as we know, the Bregado Flax Educational Center was demolished in the hurricanes of 2017, resulting in unfavorable learning conditions for our students and teachers. It was quite a moment to watch today, Kamal, as this school was handed over, but more so the joy in our students' faces as we can reflect on the atrocities of 2017. Clearly, our students have been displaced and working in uncomfortable environments. Then came COVID, which further displaced them. But we want to commend the government of the Virgin Islands to really stick into the mandate of education. The Premier, within his speech, highlighted many of the projects that were covered so far in Virgin Gorda. Some thought he was campaigning, but the government is definitely adamant that they are moving forward with the mandate and the promises that they made since coming into office.
Indeed. Well, viewers, up next, VG Bayside Blazers, the first team through to the second round of the District League basketball playoffs, and local contractors will soon benefit from a debrief training session from the RDA. We get to these stories after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back, viewers. Well, VG Bayside Blazers are through to the second round of the BVI Basketball Federation's 2021 District League competition after coming from behind to edge Filipinas by 3 points. Well, the Blazers led at the end of the first quarter by just 1 point, 18-17, but were down by 4 points at the halftime, 28-32. Well, after also trailing at the end of the third quarter, 54-56, the Blazers found the consistency needed to come from behind to win the game 75-72. The Blazers' Stefano Paul collected a team-high double-double, which included 19 points and 10 rebounds, while his teammates Cameron Telemake and Travis Isaac collected 18 and 12 points respectively. But for the Filipinas, Louis Poblet had a game-high double-double of 23 points and 10 rebounds, which included 5 three-pointers, while his colleagues Deron Finley scored 17 points. Well, in the second fixture of the night, a game-high double-double of 45 points and 16 rebounds from Ray Victor lifted Guns of the 1st District past East Rockers in a 6-point victory, leveling their playoff round at 1 game apiece. Well, Guns led at the end of the first quarter and second quarters 22-17 and 43-30, but trailed at the end of the third quarter 58-60, where they managed to come from behind in the final quarter to win that match 87-81. Well, Nathan France and DeAndre Penn were the other two scorers for Guns, collecting 13 and 12 points respectively. For East Rockers, Makibo Foy had a team-high 19 points, while teammates Leslie Smith and Damio Otley collected 16 and 14 points respectively. Meanwhile, in the opening games between Guns and East Rockers, which occurred on Sunday, September 12th, the East sailed to a comprehensive 26-point victory, winning 103-77. For the East, Damian Otley had a team-high 19 points with 8 rebounds, while Dexton Gatton collected 15 points. For Guns, Ray Victor again here performing collected a double-double in his team's loss with 22 points and 14 rebounds. We take a look at those highlights.
Well, East Rockers in the white and black kit taking on Guns of District 1. Cameron Young with the bounce pass to Ray Victor, who buries the 3 from behind the arc. Well, East Rockers were having a difficult time in the early minutes, down 11-0 at one stage. Here, Damian Otley converts 2 of his game-high 19 points. Well, the men from East were behind but kept the fight on. Leslie Smith adds to the scoreboard. And before you knew it, Timron Nicky chipped in to reduce the deficit with a layup. Well, Guns kept the ammunition loaded, firing back with 2 points of their own. Nathan France off the backboard. Well, East Rockers responded, Dexton Gatton with a successful layup. But the first quarter saw Guns bringing out their best on offense. Here Young collects and hits the 3. But his opposite, Timron, also wearing the number 8 jersey, showed that he too had range, here responding well. And when there was a misfire by Guns at the 3, France was there to clean up, collecting the rebound and converting the J as the Guns lead the first quarter 21-17. Well, second quarter action at East Rockers showed intent in reducing the deficit. Gershon Bowens going from coast to coast and finishes with the layup. Well, the men from West were still determined, showing range yet again, with this time DeAndre Penn, who converts 3 of his 13 points. And he was not finished, here hitting back-to-back 3s, nothing but net. Well, of course, the men from East had to respond, and none better than Makibo Foy, who answers back from behind the arc. Well, Foy kept it active, this time advancing through the D and converts the layup. Well, these Rockers did well to erase their deficit and build a 9-point lead at the half, 52-43. But by the third quarter, East Rockers were clicking on all cylinders, and here it shows. Raquan Foy collects and bags a 3. And for those who missed the first shot, excellent behind the back pass to Raquan, who delivers an almost identical 3 from the same spot. But by this stage, East Rockers had started to run away with points, but Victor continued to push for the West, here strung through the D with the layup. Well, it became like clockwork at this stage for East Rockers. Leslie, with all the time in the world, finishes from behind the arc. And while West seems stuck in the second gear, the team from East continued accelerating. Here Dexton converts 2 of his 15 points on the night. Although down by a huge deficit, Victor kept the scoreboard ticking for Guns, converting a 3 as he ended with a game-high double-double of 22 points and 14 rebounds. But the East continued to sail away. to take the game by some 26 points, winning 103-77.
Well, viewers, the first round playoff games will continue this evening at the Multipurpose Sports Complex. In the first game designated for the juniors, which began at 4:30 p.m., Junior Mega 6 will be aiming to level their series against Junior East Rockers. While in the first men's game at 6:30 p.m., which is about half an hour from now, which presently has a 1-0 lead, will be taking on Skillful Ballers. In the final game of the night at 8:30 p.m., Zone 6 will be hoping to level the series against Mega Mix, who are presently up 1-0. Javon, this is some very exciting basketball going on right now locally. Some excitement for those who would have been pressed and who would have been basically at ease during the COVID-19 pandemic. They're now getting to stretch your legs and compete at the highest level locally.
Well, I don't necessarily know anything about basketball, but I'll be there with my pom-poms supporting, okay? As we move on, local contractors will soon benefit from a debrief session to be hosted by the Recovery and Development Agency. The program, geared at educating contractors, promises to prepare them with the knowledge necessary to secure and execute contracts. Now, speaking to the upcoming opportunity and plans in motion for the construction of the Elmore Stout High School was the Acting Chief Executive Officer of RDA, Mr. Anthony McMaster. Let's watch.
Before I leave, though, I want to always do what I do, which is to provide opportunities for our local contractors, designers, etc., because that is what the RDA was set up to do, to ensure that we take the redevelopment of our country and put it into the hands of the locals so that you can benefit from what we are doing. One of the major projects that we have coming on stream in very, very short order is the Elmore Stout High School, as we refer to it, facilities being repurposed back to the main campus. And on that particular project, we expect to see tenders hitting the market maybe as soon as next week or thereafter for demolition works, architectural designs, followed by construction designs and development. This is your government through the RDA working for you, the people of this territory. I know it is difficult as a contractor when you bid and you don't win and you don't understand what has happened. So what we have decided to do is on the 29th and the 30th of September, a week and a little bit out, we are going to have 2 open days where we are going to refer to it as a debrief session for contractors. This would give you, the contractors, an opportunity to understand the processes that we used. We went through them during the training sessions, and now we're going to take live documents that have been collected over the last year so that we can debrief with contractors to show you where the winning bids are and where improvements are necessary for you to be able to win. We think this in itself is a win-win for all of us, because the next few projects that will be coming forward are projects that contractors of all scale, large and small, are in fact qualifiable for. And therefore,
Viewers, that was Mr. McMaster. Now, he was at the time addressing the public at the handover ceremony of the Bregado Flax Educational Center earlier today. He applauded the collaboration with government and the RDA on completing the construction of the school and urged students to take good care of it. Now, Kamal, I remember very vividly, even upon campaigning, but even prior to that, this government coming into office, one of the things in particular the government, or I should place special emphasis on the premier, was the importance of reshuffling the Recovery and Development Agreement to ensure that it makes inclusion for more local contractors to get jobs, to secure those contracts, because based on what was initially negotiated, that threshold was a bit higher. So I'm really happy to see the Recovery and Development Agency, the chief executive officer, Mr. McMaster, really making way and also putting provisions in place for persons to be knowledgeable on the processes that RDA employs in order to give out these contracts.
Well, Javon, as you alluded to, one of the things that the Andrew Foy-led administration have been keen on is capacity building. And
Yes.
as we see here, the acting CEO of the RDA basically speaking on the, emphasizing basically the nature of this initiative he plans on holding for local contractors here to basically debrief and show them exactly what needs to be done basically to secure a bid and secure a contract from the government. And by doing that, what it does is it educates them basically and allow them to know what you know, the do's and the don'ts, so that they can properly you know, submit you know, very appetizing offers, basically making it more competitive going forward. And what we would have seen of the last several contracts since the government would have came into power, the Andrew Foy-led government, we would have seen more than 80% of these contracts being issued to local contractors.
Yes.
And as a result, what it does is, as he says, it keeps the money local and it keeps the money rotating in the country, and it also employs a lot of the youth across the territory as well, because that's also part of the agreement too. You know, when the local contractors get the positions, what they end up having to do as a part of the contract is to employ persons within the community where the particular project is being done.
I know the Minister of Education also paid reference to the fact that the CEO, the acting CEO, is also local. And a very interesting comment, we could actually get the work done right here in the territory. And I think it was a very profound statement. Overall, a very good ceremony. Viewers, if you're yet to watch that, you could head to the government's page to review the ceremony.
Well, viewers, moving on, well, up next, a revised budget for the BVI in works following continued decline in revenues due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And based on a recent study by CDC, Moderna seems to be the most effective COVID-19 vaccine. We get to these stories after a word from our sponsors.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Premier Andrew Foy has indicated that his government will be bringing forth a revised budget in light of the constant decline in revenue, which has been linked to the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, Premier Foy made a disclosure during a recent press briefing in response to questions posed by the media. Take a listen.
First of all, we're going to be bringing a revised budget, because what we notice is that no matter how much we say to persons that you know, like everywhere else in the world due to COVID-19, that the revenues are not where we would like them to be or projected to be, but we can still make it if we cut some of our expenditures accordingly. So we're going to bring a revised budget very soon to make sure that persons stay within line, so that we do not get involved in deficit spending, so that we do not have to cut public officers' pay or cut public officers from the payroll, so that we do not have to give up the lifestyle that we have grown to love. Persons have to make adjustments. We all have to make them, because we're doing some cuts across the board, so that we can make sure that we all walk within that means. No.
Well, the Premier said while the news may appear worrisome for the public sector employees, he assured that there will be no job cuts.
That doesn't mean that the rest of the year the revenue may not pick back up. But at this time, based on the projections, we have to adjust accordingly so that we can see. So no one needs to be frightened. Their jobs are still intact. We still, with the cut, going to be able to give persons their increment, I think, from 2017. We're still working on the job reclassification and salary review inside of that. So, but at the same time, too, we got to make sure that we become more responsible with some of the expenditures that you see what's happening in some areas. Persons are behaving as if it's regular time and committing government to expenditures that wasn't approved, or committing government to expenditures that they didn't have conversations with before. And we have to make sure that we monitor that. As Minister of Finance, that's my responsibility.
Well, in the meantime, Premier Foy said despite the revised budget, there are still a number of outstanding projects that he intends to complete during the 2021 financial year.
We have some deliverables that we must do. We must get our children from CTL building, no offense to it, but back on the Elmo Stout High School campus in a more conducive environment. That's a must for me. I don't care what else happened politically. That is a must. I don't want for anyone's children what I don't want for mine. And that's been happening since the hurricane of 2017. And that is one of our projects with the education and also certain things in health that we're doing, and also overall with the economy that we'll be doing to help bring more revenue that we'll be moving on very aggressively or even more aggressive in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to balance it all very soon. So we look at revenues to increase because we're going to be more aggressive in certain areas to make sure that we get revenues increased. And we have to understand as a people, we cannot continue the same mindset before COVID-19 and have that same mindset and policies to operating from in the middle of COVID-19. There are some shifts have to be made in some.
Well, viewers, that was Premier of the Virgin Islands, Honorable Andrew Foy.
Viewers, as we move on, interesting headlines on the international scene. A head-to-head study of all 3 authorized coronavirus vaccines in the United States finds that the Moderna vaccine is slightly more effective than Pfizer's in real-life use in keeping people out of the hospital, and Johnson & Johnson's Janssen vaccine comes in 3rd, but still provides 71% protection. Pfizer's vaccine provided 88% protection against hospitalization, and Moderna's was 93% effective. Now, the U.S. Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention led a nationwide study of vaccination involving more than 3,600 adults hospitalized for COVID-19 between March and August. The team out of CDC said, and I quote, "Among U.S. adults without immunocompromising conditions, vaccine effectiveness against COVID-19 hospitalization during March 11 to August 15, 2021 was higher for the Moderna vaccine, that is 93%, than the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine at 88%, and the Janssen vaccine at 71%. They went on to say, and I quote, "Although these real-world data suggest some variation in levels of protection by vaccine, all FDA-approved or authorized COVID-19 vaccines provides substantial protection against COVID-19 hospitalization." End of quote. They found that the biggest difference between the vaccines made by Moderna and Pfizer's BioNTech's vaccine was driven by a decline that started about 4 months after people were fully vaccinated with Pfizer's vaccine. They went on to say, and I quote, "Differences in vaccine effectiveness between the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine might be due to higher mRNA content in the Moderna vaccine, differences in timing between the doses, that is 3 weeks for the Pfizer versus 4 weeks for Moderna, or possible differences between groups that received the vaccine that were not accounted for in the analysis." Kamal, very interesting news coming out of the CDC, clearly a body that is guiding the charge for COVID-19 globally. We'll continue to follow these updates, but for today, viewers, that is all the time we have. You can follow us via our website, that is 284media.com. We're also on Facebook at 284media and Instagram and Twitter at 284BVI. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kamal Haynes. Viewers, have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.